How's it going, guys? It's Tom with Breakless TV, bringing you a guide on how to beat bugs in Multiversus. So this is an incredibly strong character right now. He's looking to get nerfed in the next patch, but even after the fact, a lot of his tools are going to stay the same. People are going to have a lot of the same problems. So, beginning of all these guides, I always say it, play the character to level 5, especially if they're free. You get 100 gold for getting them to level 5, and you really get to learn the limitations of the character better than just playing them in the lab a little bit. So first thing I'm going to go over with you guys is you got to learn how the safe works. So he sets the safe down. There's two ways he can do it. He can set it down on the ground, or he can paint it in the air. It'll hurt you coming down, so be careful of that. Once the safe is here, it doesn't have a hitbox if it's just sitting here, and you can break it. So what I like to tell people is a lot of the times bugs will drop it and immediately attack it. That's what they love to do. But as you get and start fighting better bugs, they'll put it down and they'll just let it hang out there because it's a threat. It's a projectile he can use at any time. So you want to know how to break it. I would come in with any given character and see how quickly you can break it. It can take a few attacks. If I'm just do a couple of these, it'll break. It drops an item, another thing to be aware of. Generally, a couple air attacks is also a pretty good way to go about it. Sometimes if you can get the bugs and the safe in a combo, you can get rid of the tool and hurt him at the same exact time, which is great. So with the safe, there are 3 angles that bugs can launch it at. There's a few different attacks. I'll show you the most common ones. So the first angle is this really slow ground one. You see that it's going to have a hitbox the entire time. Get another bot here so you guys can see how far it goes. The entire time you see that yellow cone around it, that's when its hitbox is active. The second you see that go away, you can get close to the safe again and interact with it. So that's the first one. Really slow, covers the ground. A lot of times bugs will come up right behind it and then look for a follow-up with it. So something like this. So be ready for that. If you see him charging with the safe, it's a very dangerous situation. So the next angle, you see it a lot off this forward kick. It's kind of a middle angle, 45 degrees-ish. This is probably the most common, just because it kind of goes at you at quick speed. A lot of bugs like to just drop the safe, throw out the kick. It's all they know. So this, if you are playing against the new bugs, you haven't seen them do anything yet, assume it's going to be this one. 90% of the time, you're going to be correct. So the last good angle here is going to be this kind of more up, 80-ish degrees. This one will happen if you're above him. You don't see it very often, but it's good to know that it's possible. You also sometimes see this one. It gives it a little bit of a hitbox. You can see that kind of yellow cone, and it pops it up just a little bit. This can give them a little bit more control. Not really something you need to think about a lot, but sometimes they'll do something like that, cover a slightly different area, but functionally it's about the same as doing this. So now you need to know how the safe interacts with the hole. You will see this setup a lot of the time, where bugs throws down the safe, they go in the hole, they cancel it early, now you have a safe flying around. The thing to think about when you see this is anytime the safe has the cone, it has a hitbox. When it's coming slow on the way down like that, I'll show it again, it doesn't have that hitbox. So right now it has it, now it's done. You can safely interact and touch the safe as much as you want, but a lot of time, same thing. Bugs is watching the safe, he wants to send it flying at you. Be very, very aware of this. Safe has a pretty long cooldown, not that long, but just know, okay, he used the safe, he doesn't have it again. So now let's talk about the hole. The hole he uses, and eventually it'll cancel and he'll come out with the briefcase, and that's when it has a hitbox. If you're looking for him to come out with the suitcase, it's always the same amount of time. There's no way to stop it early and still get that hitbox. But he can cancel the hole. So if he goes under and then he jumps, this is going to cancel the hole early, but it has no hitbox on it. So you know that if he's coming out with the hitbox, he has to stay under for a certain amount of time. It's easy to avoid. The dangerous thing about the hole is going to be this coming through Doc perk. This is actually absolutely insane, and it makes it so that when he goes through the hole after it's set up, he'll come out with a shockwave. So let me show you with a little bit of a closer bot. So he sets up this hole. Remember, I canceled it, no hitbox, but now he can come through and he gets the shockwave. That shockwave basically allows him to combo for free, and it's absurd. So now this is just another spot that you need to be aware of. If you see the bugs likes going in and out of the hole a lot, you gotta know to avoid it. See where he is, see where the hole is, and just kind of play around it. If you don't see him doing this, I would assume he doesn't know, or he doesn't have good hole control, and I would ignore it. Ignore the hole completely. It does nothing to you. If he's not going to travel through it, then there's nothing to fear. Be careful. Once you start getting the really good bugs, they'll start doing wacky shit like this, where they're coming out with all these crazy hitboxes, and this becomes a zone that you can't come anywhere close to. So be very, very cautious of that. Honestly, if they're doing things like that and the hole's down, just get away from the hole. It has a pretty long cooldown, and it's not worth contesting. It's too difficult. If you have projectiles or something, play that game, but stay out of that zone between the holes if they make them close together. So I'm going to go over the rocket. See this a lot. So the first thing I'm going to tell you about the rocket is the up rocket has an instant hitbox. Let me get a bugs going so you guys can see this. I set him on his up special. This is active instantly. You do not want to challenge this. This will kill you at high percent. It's a very excellent kill move. Also, notice that once the rocket is on cooldown, Bugs is kind of getting this little fly move. It has a little bit of a hitbox, but it's pretty crappy. It's really easy to challenge. It's just kind of to give him a second recovery option once the missile's gone. So that's the up missile. But his forward missile in the air, and I'm going to have to launch him so that you guys can see this. So this missile, it doesn't have a hitbox until he ignites the fuse. So look at how late this hits me. I'm going to stand right inside of it. There's a ton of time there to contest it. If you think, oh, he's going for the missile, get in there. It has a really long startup, and a lot of bugs are not ready for that to happen. So let's say he starts up the missile and it's going. What should I do? You just avoid it, right? Easier said than done. There's a lot happening on the screen, but if it doesn't hit you, gotta turn off the kissing. Come on, bugs. Unprofessional. If that doesn't hit you and you can avoid it, this is a very, very scary situation for bugs. The missile makes it so that if he's off screen, he can recover from anything. He can be all the way out here, but he throws up the missile, he's on this wall cling, he gets all his jumps back, he gets everything. It's so easy for him to recover. It's so much coverage, you can't chase him while the missile's there. But once he doesn't have this missile, and he has to rely on this to get back, it's so slow. So I want you to think, every time you see a bugs, personally, this is kind of a misuse of the missile, because now I'm in a scary spot. You want to be pushing bugs off the stage and be hyper aggressive off the stage. You have that little bit of time where he doesn't have the missile, and he's a sitting duck out here. It's so awful to try and get back once you're in that crappy situation. So if you see that missile down, I want you to be hyper aggressive. The last thing I'm going to show you is what to do when you're above him. That is probably the most dangerous bugs zone. So bugs is going to fish for a situation kind of like this. And then he's going to do this to you as many times as you let him. So we got to know how to get away from it. The first instinct that people have is when they get up here, they're going to do one of two things out of hit stun. They're going to jump immediately, or they're going to dodge immediately because they're scared. That's totally understandable. But you have to remember that once you're in the air, you only have 2 jumps and 2 dodges until you touch the ground again. And a very good bugs is not going to let you touch the ground again. You waste those 2 dodges or those 2 jumps, you're stuck here. you're never getting back because you don't have a jump, you don't have a dodge, you don't have any tools to get back. So my recommendation is you want to recover as horizontally as far away from him as possible. I prefer off the ledge a little bit. It makes it really hard for him to reset this situation. Like, you see I'm touching the ground between every one of these because I want all my jumps. I want to be able to cover that ground. So you want to rob him of that opportunity. If you recover out here, it's hard for him to get underneath you with the bat. Now, he's got other moves. These are still very good, but this is so big, it's impossible to contest on 95% of characters. You can't fight this move. You just have to run from it. So when you get launched above him, try not to panic jump. Don't panic dodge. Don't think, oh, I have to get back to the stage as fast as possible. Think you have to get yourself out of that situation and make sure that those couple chances that he gives you, those couple dodges that you have, use them to slip around, recover out here, and try your chances against his other moves, because this move is so oppressive. This is what they're looking for. Alright guys, so those are my tips on how to beat bugs, just kind of understanding his mechanics and the different things he can do to you. His big thing is he wants to control as much space as possible. He's setting up this kind of stuff, he's throwing pies. There's so much crap on the screen that you have to think of, but this stuff all comes with a heavy cooldown. I can only do that once every 15 seconds. I can get another pie right now, but I have the hole, I don't have anything else. I'm sitting here. This is his vulnerable moment. It's kind of like a give and take, a roller coaster of, okay, he's using all his tools, play defensively. Don't try to contest him. There's too much stuff going on. Just try to get around it. If he's going to use his safe and throw it away, or just dodge it. Play slow against him. Keep track of his cooldowns as much as you can, and then go, oh, I know he's out of everything. He just dumped every item he has. Now you can get aggressive against him. So understand how his items work. He knows how they all work. You need to know how they work too. And be very careful of this upward zone. It's a death trap. I'm sure in the next few days they're going to touch this move because it's absurd. It kills. It racks damage. It's impossible to contest. So be very careful of those things, and you'll find yourself beating way more bugs. Alright, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you sticking around for the whole video. Like and subscribe. That helps the channel out immensely. If you have any questions or maybe your own bugs tips, leave them in the comments. I read every single comment and try to respond to all of them. And good luck out there, guys.